Why are we playing babysitter to two random children we've never met before? So we all almost just died because you want to play games. Hi, my name is Kara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. How's it going? So, in light of literally everything sucking, I'm going to tell some really funny stories that hopefully will brighten your day a little bit while I do my makeup. Let's get into it. So, the whole theme of all of these stories is going to be the main reasons why I don't like the beach. I know, I stay in Florida. I'm literally surrounded by beaches majority of the way, and I don't like them. I love the ocean, don't get me wrong. The ocean and the beach do not equal each other to me. I really like marine life. I like learning about different animals. Actually, one of my favorite pastimes is watching really weird documentaries about marine biology because that's so fascinating to me. Y'all, there is fishes down there with a light in front of its face. There's giant squids that we somehow lost. How do you lose something that big? So, I feel like the beaches are the main thing that are always recommended about Florida, and they're abundant and they're nice, but not every beach is nice. There's very few beaches that I would consider to be nice beaches. I can swim. I don't have issues swimming. I swim well enough to not drown. I'm not super powerful when it comes to swimming. That's why anytime I have gone swimming with people, I'm like, look, if you go out in deep water and you start drowning, I cannot help you. I will go get help for you, but I cannot help you. Do I look like I could? Arms weak. Mom spaghetti. That's one story about kind of like one thing that kind of happens to me all the time at the beach. It sucks all of the fun. So one thing I don't really like about a lot of beaches here is the simple fact that the sand is not always great sand, and sometimes you even if you're just sitting on the beach, the sand will get all over you and all in your car, in your house, on your pets. You think that you washed all of it off right before you left? Nay. No, you did not. It is somehow hidden. And as somebody with curly hair, it has lots of places to hide as well. And also with beaches too is going to the beach. Though I stay relatively close for me, I think the closest beach may be an hour. No, more than an hour. Yeah, I think it's about an hour or 2 hours, something like that. It's really not that far to me. And you have to think about it a few days ahead, because what nobody ever likes to discuss is the fact that the weather changes so rapidly here in Florida that if you're not prepared for it to possibly rain, or you have to check the weather. You just genuinely have to check the weather 2 days or so before, 3 days before. If there's a chance, if it's over 20% saying it's might rain, it's gonna rain. Even if it's not all day, it's definitely going to rain enough to kind of ruin your good time. So you gotta check the weather a ton. And some beaches you have to park kind of far from the actual sand. Some of them let you park on the beach. I think in Daytona you can park on the beach, which is nice, or at least it sounds nice in theory, but then there's more sand in your car because now your car was literally on the beach, not in the parking lot. I do like Inglewood. That's a good beach as well. I like West Palm Beach. Those are nice beaches as well too, but I don't go to those all the time. West Palm Beach is mega far. Anyway, I don't like seaweed because even though I doubt it, I have seen Jaws, and I doubt that anything like that would literally ever happen to me. But every time seaweed wraps around my ankle at the beach, I literally lose my entire mind and I thrash around like a crazy person. The straw that broke the camel's back for me about wanting to ever go to the beach again is the last time I went, and at the time I went with people who are no longer my friends. We went, and one of them got really drunk. The entire they basically, what had happened was they invited us. It was this one person. They invited us, being like, you guys want to go to the beach? And it was really last minute. And as I also just said, you have to check the weather a few times before you actually decide to hop in the car and go, because the weather may not really be all that great. This person, last minute, I'm talking like maybe a day or so before they wanted to go, said, y'all want to go to the beach? Granted, at the time, like, you know what, maybe we could just go. I mean, like, even if the weather's not the best, we could still go do other stuff, because they wanted to go to Daytona. So we talk about it, and we're like, okay, like last minute, we're gonna just go to the beach. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be fun. We get in the car, go to the beach. As we get there, now this person had like just started a new job somewhere. I don't remember where, because that detail is not very important. But like, we get there, this person, ever so casually is like, oh, hey, so-and-so, which so-and-so is one of his coworkers, his new coworkers. He did not tell us that the coworker is going to be there. Never gave an indication that he didn't want to go to the beach just out of a whim, but wanted to go to the beach to hang out with a coworker so he could try to, network and kind of level up, I guess, at the job that he just started. He never mentioned that. So, thinking we're going to the beach, hanging out with friends, just spontaneously, and we didn't check the weather. We got there and the sky was fully gray. The beach, the sand there was hard as a rock, because it was also, I think, super low tide or something going on. So we get there, and it's like we didn't even think about it super ahead of time. We didn't plan or anything like that. Nobody brought food or anything. We last minute decided all of this. And then to get to the beach, and this dude is over here like, oh, hey, coworker that I probably just met earlier this week. And then that coworker is a functioning alcoholic, to say the absolute best. Oh, girl, let me just say, he was not even watching his little 2 children that he brought along as well to the beach. He was there to get drunk on the beach and be at the beach, just dropping bottles everywhere and cans and all of that. Did not care about cleaning after himself, and that says a lot about people. If you go to the beach and it's cool if you want to drink at the beach. I'm not saying you can't drink at the beach, but if you're going to drink at the beach with your bottles and your cans and stuff like that, they provide trash cans. Dump your stuff in the trash can. Don't litter on the beach. But he was basically there to just get drunk and hang out with his friends and play really loud country music. And the friend that had invited us out of nowhere last second was like, we're going to the beach. He basically then ditched us when he came across his coworker at the beach and proceeded to then drink as well, real heavily. Now this person, again, we're not friends anymore. We're not friends anymore, and there's lots of reasons why we're not friends anymore, but this definitely played a factor into why we don't talk. So, proceeds to day drink. This person is not a great drunk. You know how some people can handle their alcohol and be kind of okay? This is not one of these cases. This person drinks and they instantly become irrational and slightly angry at everything. Nothing particular needs to happen. They'll just be pissed the whole time. So they of course get sloppy drunk at the beach with their coworker, right? Coworker's over here, he's got shades on. We don't know how drunk he is, but he's definitely off his rocker. Wife is also off of her rocker too. These kids are being watched by me, and at the time my ex-fiance and her best friend at the time. And we're just we thought we were coming to the beach to have a good time. Why are we playing babysitter to 2 random children we've never met before today? Because y'all don't know how to handle your alcohol and you're at the beach. I kicked a fish because I tried to have fun, go in the water, and seaweed started. I think it was seaweed, it may not have been, but I kicked really hard thinking it was seaweed, trying to get it off my foot. A fish came out the water. I was done. We're done with the beach. We're done. We're at the beach watching these children or whatever. And then when we finally go to leave, we then decide to go get food. Now, this dude, the one who had invited all of us and was getting drunk with his coworker, I guess the coworker left, and then he decided to come back and over and hang out with us or whatever. And he's like, hey guys. At the time, his wife, now his ex-wife, she was pissed. And I mean, rightfully so. So she was pissed. I was pissed because I didn't want to be at the beach that long. I had already not been having a great time at the beach. And I honestly had assumed we were going to be going there and having a good time, you know, eating some like sandwiches, you know, maybe building some sand castles, just having a good day at the beach. But the weather wasn't great. A person of our party literally abandoned us and then got sloppy drunk. He came back over to us slurring. Go sit down somewhere. Like slurring his words. He's fully red in the face. He's drunk. And we're like, let's go get some food. He at first wants to drive. We're like, no, you're not doing that. And then we have to have because the thing is, and this is why I always drive my car, I don't care if we're all going to the same location. Some of y'all don't be wanting to leave at the same time I want to leave, or situations like this happen and then I'm basically trapped there because I didn't drive. So we had taken their car, the original guy and his wife, we had taken their car to get to the beach. So whenever they were ready to leave is when we were leaving. He's like, let's drive to go to a pub or something to get some food. I don't drink. I haven't drank in like at least a year or so now. I don't really enjoy it. So we go to the pub. I of course am not drinking. And I think one of the other friends, like my ex-fiance's best friend, wasn't drinking either. I think he got water or something like that. I don't remember. It's not important. But when we get there, he tries to order more alcohol. Enough potato chips and everything that you can eat in this pub for this to be okay. We have to have his wife drive us, and she's a nice person, but she's like the type of person who gets very nervous and scared about driving in general. So she was very nervous to drive, and he's yelling at her the whole time. We have to make U-turn after U-turn trying to get to this particular pub that he wants to go to, and like she's nervous the whole time trying to drive because she doesn't want to like make any wrong turns. We're in Daytona like Tampa area, and people over there, I don't think there's as big of like a tourism thing as it is here in Orlando. So like most of the people, they're kind of just like trying to get from point A to point B, and if you don't know where you're going, get off the road. They're not going to like stop for you. So she's driving nervous AF behind this wheel. He's not helping by being not quite a backseat driver, but like a passenger seat driver for sure, and like telling her like, no, you gotta go this way, or oh my god, speed up, why are you driving so slow? A whole mess. We get to the pub, go get food or whatever, and then proceed to like debate if we should go back to the beach or not. We decide not to because at this point we're all tired, hot, food wasn't all that great. None of us have had a good time. I've been traumatized by the fact that I've hurt a wild animal. I was in their habitat and I don't hurt them. I had no business. And like my fiance at the time was mad at me, I think, because I didn't want to go like swim in the water, and I kept trying to explain to her like, I'm not that great of a swimmer and y'all keep going out too deep. My ex-fiance at the time, this is for context, is like way taller than me. Like at least a foot taller than me. I'm 5'6". The water that hits her at like waist length is completely different. That's up to my neck. So she's slightly mad at me, and we're like driving back, and again, this drive is about like an hour and a half or so back to where we had all lived at the time. We're in the car, and we already had to fight the dude who's drunk to not drive, and he kept saying, he's like, I don't want anybody else but who's on my interest to drive, which would normally not be that big of a deal if the fact that his wife literally gets nervous at the smallest thing while driving. We almost got into a car accident 3 times with her driving on the highway. We got cussed out by one car because they followed behind us and waited till they were turning off and then cussed us out. And I kind of don't blame them. But that wouldn't have been that big of a deal if like she was okay with like driving and like comfortable and stuff like that, but she's not. So everybody was just kind of like tense at this point, and it already took us way longer to get back because she also drives very slow, which again, I would rather, if you're not a super comfortable driver, to drive slow than to drive really fast, especially if you don't fully know where you're going. But we finally kind of get close to going back to the city or whatever of where we had stayed. And he starts yelling at us because I guess in his head he thought it'd be funny to tell his wife to take a specific turn. Well, he tells her this last second, and this is one of the almost car accidents that we got into, and he tells her last second, like, turn here. And her being the nervous Nelly that she is, and him yelling at her out of nowhere, she then immediately tries to merge over. She almost merges into another car who had already been in the turn lane that had started way back there. And she just decides to just merge in. That does not work. So she tries to merge in, almost hits this car beside us. He gets pissed at like all the rest of us in the car because we're like, what are you doing? That's not even a faster way to go home. Because in his head, he was like, it'd be so funny if like I take you guys this way because y'all don't know this way if we go this way to go back home. The reason this doesn't make sense is all of us stayed in the same city, and the city is not that big. It is not that big. We all would have known where he was going. He wasn't tricking anybody. He wasn't gonna scare anybody. We all would have known where we were going. So it made no sense. So we all almost just died because you want to play games. And we finally get back, and he's like yelling at us in the car, being like, I just thought it'd be funny. Don't tell my wife how to drive. I tell her how to drive. And he's like just yelling at us, and then like basically him and my ex-fiance start like yelling at each other or whatever, because she's over here like, why are you yelling at us? You're the one who started this. This wasn't even an issue. They get into a whole huge argument. This dude, then when we finally get home, and me, my fiance, and at the time my fiance's best friend all get dropped off at our apartment. The best friend did not stay with us, but he was there all the time. So he got dropped off with us, and we're just like, what in the world just happened? The dude that like got drunk and everything at the beach didn't want to apologize for anything, and when he did, he was making it sound like he was provoked, and that's why he was acting the way that he was, and like we didn't understand or whatever. And oh my god, it's so bad because the whole situation was bad. He didn't want to take responsibility for what he did, and like why the whole trip itself was not great, and like why this was, I think, kind of the beginning of the end of everything that happened with this friend group. Just awful. I'm not even close to being done with my makeup. There's so much more mess to this story that I could even tell you, but I might have to break this up into multiple get ready with me's because ooh, child, the mess. Honestly, I think it would have been fine had he have just accepted that like he got drunk, got sloppy drunk, and was being rude to literally everybody, because nobody was like amiss from this. And I even told him that I was pissed with him, even though he didn't yell at me directly. He was yelling in general, and I don't really appreciate that. I kind of feel like in that situation that we were in a car. There's no reason to start yelling at somebody in the car. I think he stopped talking with everybody for a few weeks, which he tended to do all the time, where he would like do something more often than not, cause a huge argument, a huge explosion or whatever, and then try to flip it onto everybody else like, oh, you guys did this and that's why I reacted the way that I did. And he would just flip it on us, and then when people would be like, no, you're wrong, that's not what happened, you were being rude, you were being the instigator here, you caused this. And anytime that would happen, he would get upset, say something really hurtful. Some of his favorites were, this is why nobody likes you. This is why your parents don't talk to you. This is why you don't have any other friends but me. And then he would just go ghost for like a couple weeks, and then out of nowhere, later on, like he would delete everybody off of social media. He would delete them off of Steam. He would like block their phone number or whatever. And then a couple weeks later, I guess when he realized that he himself didn't really have any other friends to like talk to, he would then come back a few weeks later and they'd be fine. And then a few weeks later again, the whole thing would happen over again. It was always something. It was always him like instigating a problem or creating a problem, and then like refusing to take any ounce of responsibility for it. This whole story was just the whole entire mess. This is why I don't like the beach. That was like the final straw for me, like when it comes to like going to the beach or like trying to have a good time there. I don't know. I guess that was basically it. That's pretty much the whole entire story of like why I'm not really a fan of the beach. My beach horror story. Honestly, I think if I would have went with better people, I wouldn't have these like really like negative feelings or anything like that towards the beach. But alas, you work with what you work with, and what I'm working with is some people. Also, that's not the only time that same person has like gotten drunk and like done or said really regrettable things. That's not the first time. I have plenty of stories about this one person just in particular. I don't even know if y'all will even like this story time. I feel like my thoughts are kind of everywhere. I think the only positive that I got out of that whole entire trip was from then on, I take my car. I drive. I will either be the designated driver or I will drive separately. I am no longer, like, I'm not just gonna pile in your car. Even with my own friends and everything like that, I don't do it. Because the one time I may pile into your car to go somewhere, y'all might want to turn up in a way that I don't want to. You know, like, y'all may do something that I'm just not fully down with, or something may happen and I'm ready to go and you're not ready to go, but you drove. We're just not gonna do it. Yeah, I could Uber, but I don't want to pay money to leave a situation because somebody else is being irresponsible or being raggedy. Hope that this story was like fun, it was entertaining, it was kind of funny, maybe, I don't know. It was just awful. I guess moral of this whole entire story is just be careful about like last minute plans and like some of the people that you may go out with. I hope it was fun. I feel slightly better simply because it's like there's so much negative stuff going on that I think telling a lighthearted story that's just like what the whole way through is better than a lot of the stuff actually going on in the news. I'm not even going to touch on it in this video because I might cry, but also I just feel like there's plenty of other outlets and better sources to kind of get information from. Believe me, there will be links down in the description bar if you do want to help out in any shape or form. I'll be also listing down petitions as well, not even just places where you can donate. So if you're not financially able to donate at the moment, you can just sign a petition. That helps just as much. Believe me, I know it does. It helps a lot in the cause. So that will all be down in the description. And if you would like to see more of me, my links for all of my social media will be linked down below. I post way more on my Instagram, so if you want to see more of like my outfits and like beauty and stuff like that, that will be on my Instagram page. My Depop shop will be also listed down below as well if you ever want to shop my closet. My Tumblr, I have outtake photos and stuff like that. And my Pinterest where I get like recipe ideas and like it has like my thrift wish list, but currently your girl can't go thrifting, so that wish list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. So I really just hope that though this video was not focused on what's actually happening around us in the world, we all also deserve a break. I know I deserve a break. I've been emotionally exhausted by the same sort of thing for years now. So we all deserve at least some part of a mental break. Do take care of yourself genuinely, and I say that with my whole entire heart. So I hope to talk to you soon somewhere on the internet. Please do take care. Take breaks if you have to from social media, get off the internet, take a walk, do what you have to do. Please just stay safe from the coronavirus that's going on still. Stay indoors if you can. If not, again, I do suggest taking a walk. It helped me the other day. I took a walk, but just stay safe from that. Be mindful of your surroundings and just help where you can, you know. So I hope to talk to you soon though. Take care.